We are radiant beings. We have a spark of divinity within us. And today we're going to explore how our role is as being a ray of hope. And you see, each are. You're for each other, for your families, for other people in your communities, for people at work. Every day you're being rays of hope with a kind word, with a smile. So today we're going to look at what does it take to be a ray of hope. And I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey. And so it's kind of an unusual journey, but we love. This is my wife Lynn behind the camera here. She would matches the camera. Notice we're on side. So we love Payson. I actually moved to Arizona in '77, and Payson was the first place that really filled my heart. So I would come up here at least once a month while I was going to college at ASU. And I'd go camping somewhere in the woods. I'd take my Volkswagen Beetle on one of the forest roads. Wouldn't even know where I was going a lot of the time. Sometimes I'd move rocks and trees out of the way. But I'd find a secluded place. And back then, I loved martial arts. And so I would do my kata, my forms on a rock somewhere overlooking a beautiful vista. And so Payson has always had a special place for me. I even came to all the festivals. So I was at the rodeo, the Sawdust Festival, the Bluegrass Festival, the Old Time Fiddlers Contest. I mean, this goes on and on. You still have all those? Oh, yeah. And so I love the playfulness of Payson. And then when I heard that there's a Unity Church here, I thought, oh, how cool is that? And so now there's this spiritual energy that gets to radiate out from this place. So I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey. And so I did something unusual. And it was in the aftermath of the 9/11 events that my wife and I, our anniversary was close to Thanksgiving, and so we decided to go to Sedona. Sorry, a little code. And so we decided to go to Sedona to celebrate our anniversary, and we love hiking, and so we were walking along the West Fork. And as we're walking, we're kind of asking ourselves, we love the inspirational stories and the prayers and things that people were sharing over the internet just to console one another, just to bring a little bit of hope in what seemed like a time of madness. And as we're reflecting on that, and now the ensuing war on terrorism was occupying the news, and those stories seemed to just melt away. But yet we knew they were still there, because we're still getting them on the internet. But it wasn't going out to the masses. So as we're reflecting, we then started walking in silence. And it started with a question that we asked ourselves. And it was, what more could we do? Because we each did something, whether we're sharing a poem, something inspirational, the daily word, something. And as we're walking in silence, this idea started welling up in me. And it came from within. It wasn't something I contrived in my head. And the idea was that we were to go across the country and we were to share a message of hope and healing. And then I kind of got that it wasn't to be easy. It was to have an element of struggle. Life has an element of struggle. And so I then got it was the bicycle. So I used to love the bicycle when I was a kid. When I wanted to get away from the hustle and bustle and my mother and whatever, I would go on my bicycle. And I would find a sense of peace. And I got that it was to be on the bicycle. And so came out of silence and I shared that with Lynn. I said, honey, I think we're supposed to go across the country and I'm supposed to bicycle and we're going to share a message of hope and healing and get to ground zero by the year-end remembrance ceremonies. So September 11, 2002. You remember what you thought?
Yes. Are you crazy?
Yeah. Well, maybe, but I'm just getting that we're supposed to do this.
Well, I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
What if you don't do this? How will you feel?
Regret.
Then we have to do this.
And the journey began. We didn't know how we were going to do it. But we had friends that helped us. And so I was trying to think of what bicycle to use going across the country. So first of all, I had at that time a 25-year-old bicycle. That's called vintage. Do you know why? Because you pay more for the parts. Right? You have an MG, it's vintage, you pay more for the parts. And so a friend of mine, about a month before, lent me this monster. It's an 80-foot monster here, a recumbent bike, because he was afraid that my crotch might need some relief. So he gave me that to use, and this was our lunch. And so we looked at, okay, when are we going to leave? And so we decided July 4th. And, I thought, well, where are we going to leave from? It would have been nice to leave by the ocean, the cool of the ocean. No. It was to be from Phoenix. To symbolize the Phoenix bird rising from the ocean. July 4th. Well, it cooled down to 109 degrees that day. And so we did. We started a journey. And I mapped it out. You see, in high school, I had this dream of bicycling across the country. And I actually wanted to do it in 1976. I was still in high school. That was the bicentennial. And there was a bicentennial bike trail that was laid out across the nation. But it wasn't time yet. And so that was just kind of on the back burner. And this was a way to bring it off the back burner. Well, I found out that they still had the layout. They had maps that they still had of how to bicycle across the country. And so all I had to do was figure out how to get from Arizona and on up. Well, Payson was how I had to go. See these little dots? These are fire stations we've spoken across the nation. Shared a message of hope and healing, invited the public to honor the firefighters and other public servants that showed us what it looked like to be a ray of hope to the world. And went through Payson. And it was actually, when I arrived in 77, it was, I think, 79 that I decided, I'm going to bicycle up to Payson. And I did. It was also in the summer, July or August, and I never made it. The hill from Rye to here killed me. I'm still alive. But I had a hitchhike on, and a guy put me in the back of his pickup and took me up the hill. It was blowing my ego. And so I made it up to Payson. These are my two boys. They came with us the first 10 days of the journey. They got bored after that, and they were stuffed in the back of our Toyota 4Runner with a cooler in between and bags that would fall off whenever Lynn made a turn. So we kind of played leapfrog. I bicycled, and Lynn did what?
I did the hard part, drove the truck.
Well, and so this was our truck, and this was the tax, and this was actually us going across the Ohio River. It's funny because my boy asked, well, why did you take the ferry, Dad? Isn't that cheating? I said, we didn't count those miles. Is that all right? And so, so Lynn was the support for this journey. And so we shared a message of hope and healing. And it was a message that was unity principles encapsulated in a way that the masses could really get it. And so let's begin our journey. We actually took what we learned on the journey and the principles that we shared and things that people taught us, other principles they were living by to be more happy and more peaceful, and put it into a book called Ray of Hope for Peace. And I'm going to draw from it as we go throughout this. And now, interesting, that adventure, when we got to the end, people asked us, how long did it take you to recover? Because we did. We made it to ground zero for the year-end remembrance ceremony, 70 days on the bicycle. And so, how long did it take you to recover? And when I shared with people, there was no recovery. It became a routine. Just like getting up, brushing your teeth, going to work, whatever, is a routine. So was that. It just became something natural. Were there pains and aches? Always. You have pains and aches? Always. Just part of life. It's just a metaphor for life. And the bicycle is a way to communicate. No matter what's going on in the world, whatever chaos, whatever's happening in your personal life, whatever's going on in the news, we can still find peace and happiness So how do we do it? Oh, that RV? That's what we're doing now. The journey continues. And so we're sharing a message of hope as we roll there. And so I want to share with you 4 focal points that we share across the country. And whoa, 2 hours driving. Do we have rack cards? Did everyone get a rack card?
No.
Is there anyone that did not get a rack card? A rack card looks like this. Raise your hand if you don't have one of these. Here they go. So I'm going to share some principles from here. I'm going to share also at the end a poem that I shared across the country. He does everything. John does everything. Yeah, does everything. Yeah.
You guys?
Okay, everybody? There's center in the middle there, right? All right. So the first principle, if you look on the front, you'll see them in that little purple banner. First principle is to have faith. And so what does have faith look like? Especially for someone that maybe doesn't have a church or a faith that they're connected to. And so as I shared this message across the country, I tried to share it as simple as possible. And first of all, we needed a good affirmation to live by, and so we actually have a license plate that we had on the front of our vehicle. This is the same license plate. See, there's even buds from Tennessee, Missouri. Any buds you recognize? With God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible. With that essence that is in everyone and everything, and see, in unity, there are 5 basic principles. And the first principle is that God is good, and God is in everyone and everything, and omnipresent. The second principle, well, if that's true, then I'm naturally good. Because if God is in everyone and everything, then the spark of divinity is in me, so therefore, I am naturally good. And then how do we connect with God? We connect through prayer and meditation. It was interesting when we met in fire stations, we actually guided people through a meditation of healing. Didn't use the word God, didn't need to. It's an energy that we can relate to. And so there's a natural law. So in unity, we use some words like there's only one presence and one power in all the universe. You know how to finish it? God the good, omnipotent. I've chosen to simplify it just a little bit because I listen to the words of Jesus. Well, I don't hear him, but I see the words of Jesus in the Bible, and it's all about loving each other as I have loved you, loving your neighbor as yourself, loving your enemies. So the essence that Jesus taught was love. Buddha speaks kindness and compassion. Sai Baba said there's only one religion, the religion of love. And so therefore, next slide, I think it all boils down to something called love. What if by radiating love out, we are radiant beings that are radiating hope and joy and peace in the world? Next. And I found love in the movie. There's love. And so we continue to roll. And so the next principle is to live your purpose. Do you understand why you're here? It answers that fundamental question, why am I here? Why am I here on earth? And it's not a career. It's something that we can express with everyone that we meet, anytime we choose. And I have a highly training tool. And this does not pass any inspections. So I am not being responsible if there are any accidents that happen when I put the switch. No. And so it's interesting because in the first principle to have faith, we are all connected to God, always. We're never disconnected. It's always there. We're just going to decide if we're going to have the switch off, switch on. Or, maybe we don't want to shine as bright some days as other days. We get to choose how bright we want to shine. When we understand our purpose, that essence of why we've come here, see, I think we are all actors in a divine play, and there's some piece that we've got to express in this world. When we understand that, it's there that our light shines bright. Next so I'm going to show you your mission statement. And I looked at it and I found a sense of purpose in it. See, it's the attractive power that brings experiences to us so that we can express that more in our life, so that we can shine our light bright. And so I want to put up your mission statement after I bicycle a little bit more. That was the Ozarks. Those were killers. And so there's your mission statement. So to inspire and awaken, let's say it together. To inspire and awaken one another to a greater experience of God and life through the practical application of spiritual principles. Incredible mission. And as I looked at that, I said, what's the essence? See, that's what the purpose is. And in yellow is what I think is your essence. To inspire and awaken one another to a greater experience of God and life. That includes everyone. It could be drawing from Jesus. It could be drawing from Buddha. It could be drawing from whatever masters you choose to. Amazing. Next. So the next is to practice good character. So this also leads back to your basic principles in unity. And so the last principle, you know what it is?
Living.
It's living. And so in essence, it's to do your best and make a difference. And then the third principle also says that through our thoughts, we create our experiences. See, with character, it's like a muscle. It's like going to the gym. We constantly need to be working it and be conscious of it to strengthen it. Because sometimes we fall a little short. And the interesting thing that happens with that is when we're living good character, we're feeling really good about ourselves in life. But when we're compromising character, maybe someone convinces you to do something kind of against your better principles, it causes a dimness to occur. It eats us up inside. It causes anxiety. But we can choose to strengthen that muscle so that our light continues to shine bright. And so, next slide. It's a natural law, anyway. So it's a law of cause and effect. It's a scientific principle. And so if we do something, say we go down the street and we smile at someone, what do they tend to do?
Smile back.
Smile back. It's a natural reaction. You remember when in school you maybe got angry at someone on the playground and you kicked them? What happened? They kick you back. It's a natural law. Sometimes it comes quick, sometimes it takes a little time. And there was a great master that I love that demonstrated it so well. And that was Gandhi. He said, be the change you wish to see in the world. In essence, what change you want to see, change it here first. When we change it here, then we can radiate it out. And like a ripple in the world, it just goes out and out in a sense speed. And I found peace in Kansas, by the way. Peace in 95th Avenue. And we continue to roll. Go. And so today, Lori shared that we're going to have a really fun session for you to be involved in creating the core values, and that, in essence, the character of this place, so that you radiate this energy out. And people that really want to be a part of these values will be attracted. You, as people that are in this community, will feel that. You'll feel people living those values. And so you get to create them today. And I'll facilitate that and have them come up, kind of bubble to the surface. And the last principle is to serve all with love and compassion. And so I believe we're in this world to play our unique roles in some way, shape, or form. And as you do, this was actually ground zero. What I loved about what happened around 9/11, once you get past looking at what the tragedy was, it was the way people came together. And so this was actually on September 11th, 2002, at ground zero. Some people had prayer stations they set up just to pray with people. Some people brought things to put on the memorial. That memorial where it says faith, love, and life, that was outside St. Paul's Chapel, which was adjacent to ground zero. It became a memorial and a place of refuge for all the emergency workers that served the ground zero. People were serving people in amazing ways. And we captured those stories and put them into Ray of Hope for Peace. Next. And then in November of this past year, I became aware of a movement. Have you heard of Birth 2012? So here's the principle. So you had some people predicting that the end of the world was happening this year on December 21st of 2012. Well, Barbara Marx Hubbard begs to differ. So Barbara Marx Hubbard is 83 years old, and she has been advocating that we're all pieces of a puzzle to assist the conscious evolution of the planet to its next level. And you can do it in any sector of society. It might be science, it might be environment, it might be education, it might be a spiritual community. And so she was at the Unity Convention. Lynn and I have been serving there for 5 years as volunteer coordinators. And she actually had a call for action. So the Unity People's Convention is ministers from around the world that come together to share best practices and grow each other. And she was one of the keynote speakers. And then she asked anyone that wanted to come up to speak about their vision of how they would contribute to what she's going to do. She's planning a birthday party for our new conscious evolution of the planet on December 22nd of 2009. It happens to coincide with her own birthday, by the way. And so there's a big celebration being planned where she's envisioning hundreds of thousands of, if not millions of people coming together to celebrate. And so I stepped up. Something said, share what's been bubbling up in you. Next slide. So what I shared was, what if each of us would commit to be rays of hope? What if we created an I am a ray of hope movement? Where in essence our affirmation as we walk throughout the day is, I am a ray of hope. And if you see someone struggling with their groceries and a child trying to get into a car, you assist them without them asking. Or maybe it's just, someone's having a tough day, you can tell it. And you just lend a compassionate, empathetic ear. What if each of us had a commitment to be rays of hope and to use that affirmation, I am a ray of hope? And what if we could make it visible? It's not easy to get on the news. We did it as we rolled across the country, plugged a little bit of hope in the midst of the war on terrorism as we roll. What if we could get a movement to happen where it's made visible, all the stories of people that are serving each other and being rays of hope for people in the planet, and organizations that are doing that, and other movements that are doing that. And so that's the vision. And so we have some cards for you, which is you can kind of track how it's going. You can share your own ideas. You can choose to be an I am a ray of hope person. And so we made these cards. Ink is still drying. They ended up at Deb's house on Friday. We invite you to join in being rays of hope. And so with that, I'm going to read the poem that inspired this movement, that inspired the bicycle trip across the country, and the principles that I just shared with you. Next slide. It's called It's Time. And I wrote this at 2 o'clock in the morning on September 15th, 2001. It's time that we understand our role as stewards of this planet, that we respect and honor the delicate balance of our world. It's time that we realize we're all one people, that separateness is an illusion, and that in truth we're all connected. It's time that we see past the veil of illusion called separateness and understand just how connected we really are. That we're all made from the same substance of the universe, and by harming another, we're only harming ourselves. It's time that we get past the color of one's skin or the name of one's God, that we realize we're merely traveling parallel paths leading up the same mountain. It's time that we stop searching for happiness outside ourselves, that we turn our attention inward and tune into the calm peace of our souls. It's time that if we see something in the world that needs to be changed, that we do as Gandhi suggested, and be the change we wish to see. It's time that we take responsibility for making the world a better place, that we strengthen the foundation of our community by being of good character. we ask, how can I make a difference that would leave this world in a little better shape than when we arrived? It's time that we listen to each other with empathy and compassion, that we overcome the fear in our minds so that we can experience the love in our hearts. It's time that we get past ego and discover our innate spiritual essence, that we release our selfish desires and serve humankind unconditionally with love. It's time that we love all, serve all, that we be at peace. It's time. So that's on the back of your card, and you get to take that with you. And we're going to sing a song now that was actually created especially for the movement. That's not the song. Not it. And it's a sing-along. There is a harmony. I'm asked my wife Lynn to come up and share a couple of announcements first, and then to lead us in the I Am a Ray of Hope song. And is there anyone that really, really would love this book for free?
Yes.
You got it. And I will sign it afterwards.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. She is quick.
That woman makes good decisions.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, that's
And so
a
this
great way to
song-
stay connected.
Yeah. And so the song that we're now going to sing together, the harmony, and the harmony is real simple. So what's the harmony, honey?
It's not really a harmony.
Oh, it's, well, I
Yeah,
don't know music very well.
I know, that's okay.
Yeah. I have one note, I think. It's a really good note, but it's only one.
But it's only one note. Anyway, it's just a chorus. And actually, this was created especially for one of the talks that Ray gave at Unity of Mesa. And it was around the I Am a Ray of Hope commitment program.
So it's our theme song.
Yeah, which we actually had at Unity of Mesa. And so that's available for any church who wants to do this book as a study and do it as a commitment program. And here we go. Are you guys ready? Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. So these are the Yayas, and they actually created this story, or this song.
To be part of a global movement, to spread our love, to be love. For the church, for our community, for the state, for the nation, for the world. We get to be the change. It's time, huh? It's time?
It's time. It's time.
It's time.
Please affirm with us, okay? I am a